Alright guys, so I finally got one of these packages back. Like I said, still got maybe 60 cards in grading over here at HGA. So I went ahead and already delabeled it, cut it. So let's go ahead and check out what's inside. I think this is probably a 5-card submission, but I may be wrong. Try not to see the front of them. I think that's the front. Let's flip this over. Alright, yeah, 5 cards. Let's get this unwrapped. And let's see. Let's go ahead and just lay them out so we know what we're dealing with here. Got a Hertz, Jordan Love, Herbert, and a Zion. Let's try this Zion first. Now this is, what is this? Hoops Premium. I'm not expecting a whole lot because these things weren't packaged that great. Panini cut them like crap. I mean, if you just look at the back right there, you can already see sort of like some jagged edges there, but I figured, you know what, it's a Zion rookie, might as well. So let's see what we got. 9. I'll take that, especially since I was not expecting a whole lot on it in the first place. It's a nice looking card though, it presents well. It's one of the silver prisms for Hoops Premium. Alright, so we got a 9 on Zion. Let's go ahead and hit up these Jordan Loves next. Alright, so both of these are optic prisms. I don't remember what they were. I don't think they were the pinks. They were something else. They may even just be hollows. Let's find out. And no, they're actually the blue hypers. So I got a 9 on that, 2 9.5s and 2 9s. And if you've already seen some of my videos, you'll know that they scrutinize the crap out of edges and centering. So even though just by looking at it, it looks pretty good there. It looks pretty good on the back too, just by looking at it. But if I bring my little tool out, which I should be using this more often when I send them in, I don't. But this is probably what most grading companies do use. They'll just lay them on there, check out the numbers, and see how far off it is. Oops, drop that guy. Alright, so I got a 9 on that. It's not bad. Let's see, I think this one is probably also a blue hyper then. It is, and I got another 9. This one got 3 9s and a 9.5. Still a 9 though, so I'm not overly worried about that third 9.0. Alright, so I got 2 Loves and a Zion, all 9s so far. I think this is just a base Prism Herbert. And just by looking at it, I can already tell you that the edges are not fantastic. I don't know if you can see it right there or not, but Panini didn't do a great job on cutting these things. So you'll always see sort of the fronts you may not notice, but on the back, I don't know if you can see it on there, the cardboard is always slightly nicked up as the blade went along, which kind of sucks. But let's hope for, I'm assuming a 9. 9.5, holy crap, I'll take it. Alright, so yeah, the only thing they did get me on 9 on was the edges. So it looked like they were happy with everything else, which is fantastic. It's as good as a 10. Super happy with that one. I'll let these guys slide, but yeah. This is one I actually wanted as something pretty much gem mint, so I'm glad about this one. Alright, let's put that guy there, and this one, Jalen Hurts Prism, I'm pretty sure this was the red prism or the red ice, I think it was the red ice. Okay, so let's see what we got going on here. 9, okay, it's good enough for me. 3 9s, looks like surface was great. Corner edges and centering, they got slightly, which I already knew the centering. It's heavier on the left side. You can see that one without any kind of gauge. But yeah, that was a freaking beautiful card. I didn't think about it when I submitted it because I started submitting these off a while ago. And I wish I did a custom label on this one. I just didn't think about it. But that's okay. Yeah, I can see some of the a lot of the jagged wear on the edges on these cuts. I don't know if my camera is showing it properly or not, but it might be because this thing's butting up so close to the plastic that it's hard to see on a camera. But if you could see it, you would basically just see tiny little jagged nicks along the sides there. On the front it looks great because the card is glossy. When it cuts, it's clean, but the cardboard always gets it, which is why when you buy the cardboard ones, the cards, like regular hoops or anything like that, those things are a pain to try to get high grade because the cardboard sides or the corners always get messed up. So, but I got a 9.5 Herbert. So I think all in all, this was a total success. I'm okay with all these. This one I expected, so it's not like it hit me real hard. This one, I actually was not expecting a 9.5, so that's a cool surprise for me. So that's just another 5 cards back out of, like I said, there's a good 60 still over there. I've gotten, what, shoot, I want to say 25 or 30 back. I don't know. But really like these cases, like the way they present. They don't stack. I don't know if you've seen my first video, but I went over all the cases, like the HGA and the PSA BGS. I'll pull out a few slabs right now just to show you what I mean. So I've got like some PSA cases here, and then I've got a couple SGCs. I don't know if this one will work because they work. All right. And I've got some BGS cases. So I guess while I'm at it, let's go ahead and just go back over this again. Just so y'all know, if y'all don't want to go back and watch my first video. So the HGA cases, they don't stack fantastic because there's not a huge lip on it. Let me show you. Gonna need 2 for this experiment. I hate taking them out of the plastic, but sometimes you have to just to do this. And honestly, these things look fantastic when they're out of the plastic. They're just clear as hell, and that label just stands out. So this just sitting on a wall or on a stand looks great. But anyway, back to what I was saying. In fact, they may have changed it a little bit because this one feels a little bit deeper, but we'll find out. So on these things, usually there's a lip on every case. Every company does it. And wow, okay, they changed it. These sit snug. So maybe I'll just do another video altogether discussing the cases. All right, so these sit snug. Let me see if I can pull out some of my original HGA cases and show you what I meant. So my first cards, I think this Herbert was one of my first cards back. And pretty sure, no, not that. Sorry, I sent off a lot of cards. I'm trying to figure out which ones are the first ones I sent off. probably in my case. Alright, so basically the original video I showed, when I took them out and I stacked them, they wouldn't hold together, they would just slide off. So, alright, here we go. Let's use these. So, but I think they changed the cases, which is kind of cool. Alright, so I don't know, let's find out. I don't want to open that one, let's open this one. Alright, so I think these two are from my original grade, and if you were to put them together, they hold a little bit, but the lip wasn't very deep. It was kind of shallow, so when you would do that, they would hold, but not as good as some of the other companies. Now, let me look at this case as a whole. Okay, I think it changed a little bit. I don't know if you can see it on here. The new plastic is clear, and the old plastic was had a slight sort of opaqueness to it. I don't know if you could, yeah, it's sort of similar to the BGS cases where it's not completely clear. There's a slight opaqueness to it. So they definitely changed their cases. And I think they did that also because the original cases had minor gaps around the cards. So let me show you. And I think I talked about this in the first video too. So if the card's hitting this edge, on the original cases, typically on the bottom, you can see it right there, there's a gap, and on this side, you can see there's just a minor gap. So if you were to kind of, I mean, it would take sort of a hit. It's in there pretty good, so it's not like some of the other grading companies where it would bounce around a whole lot, but it will shift. So you see how it moved off of that bar right there and that bar. All right, so that was the original case. Now they are pretty snug. There's that bar, and there's that bar. There's the bottom. There's the top. They're pretty snug. So I think they actually redesigned this case. I don't know if they got a lot of complaints or they were watching these review videos everyone was doing, talking about it, but looks like they fixed it, which is kind of cool, which means they're actually paying attention to what people are saying. So they fixed that, and they fixed the whole thing where they wouldn't clip together very good. Now here's this one. I don't know if you can see it, but the lip is bigger and it's together. Holy crap, might be two together. All right, so that's awesome. I never really pulled the new batches out to ever go over it. Feels a little weightier too, so I think it's a heavier plastic. That's pretty cool, and at the same time, it makes me want to send off my original lot to get recased because those cases are definitely better. Okay, so wasn't expecting to do that little segment right there, but I learned something new making this video. That's great. But yeah, so that was same deal. BGS has a pretty massive lip, so when you clip them, they lock together. You can make stacks, they won't go anywhere. SGC, I'm not even gonna take this out of the plastic because their lips usually hold pretty well even without taking them out. And I think you can probably do the same with PSA too. They've got a pretty large indent. Maybe not. You know what? I don't think I've ever actually tested one of these out of the plastic. Not that anybody would really want to stack these anyway, but since other companies are fixing and redesigning their stuff to make it work, let me see what PSA is doing. This thing has probably never left the plastic since it got graded, so there we go, I broke a seal. Alright, That looks great. Not, now that I sit here and take them out of the plastic and look at them a bit. All right, so the lips, they do hold. Super thin. I mean, that could be preferential to you, but I'm not happy with it. Because it makes me feel like it's not protecting my card as well. BGS cases, almost well over double the thickness. And these things are super lightweight. I feel like if anyone were to accidentally try to, they would just snap in half. Oh man, not happy with it. Alrighty, and if I stack that right next to this case, easily double the size. In fact, if I put it right there, you can see it's about the size of that first half. That's nuts. Things I've never tried, but I'm trying for this video. There we go, you can probably see it right there. That's insane. But yeah, way heavier. I feel like it's safer in here. Yeah, I never actually took it out of the plastic and just like played with it. I mean, the lip is sufficient enough to keep it locked, but kind of uncomfortable now knowing it's that thin. Okay, so that's that. I guess since we've got them all out, we might as well talk about it a little bit. The one thing I also don't like is that it's super opaque. So I don't know what plastic they're using, but it's looks like it's got like an ABS thing going on there with little kind of ridges in the plastic that make it embossed almost, shadow. And I guess that's cool. It kind of frames the card without doing what SGC did, which was actually stick ABS plastic in there to create sort of a frame. I've never been a fan of this whole black tuxedo concept of theirs, the whole ABS plastic just surrounding a card. And at the same time, if you look at it, they've got gaps in theirs still. So they haven't fixed that on theirs yet. Surprisingly, their older cases were better. This thing is snug. And this is one of their way older labels. So that's awkward. BGS, they actually seal their cards before they encapsulate it, which is kind of cool. It gives it that extra layer of protection, so it's not going to have all kinds of moisture and stuff getting in there if it does crack or something. But super sturdy. This is probably one of the thickest cases in the game. Both these are pretty thick, but for some reason, even though it's slightly smaller, just height-wise, I don't know why, when you hold a BGS case, it just feels weighty. But anyway, so those are those cases right there. Wasn't expecting to pull them out and do sort of like a little review again, but I am super happy that I realized that HGA redesigned their cases. That's awesome. Learn new things every day. So anyway, those are my cards. 9.5 on a Herbert. Very happy about that. I've got a lot of other cards out here I'm about to send off because basketball season is about to hit its stride. And this is a good time to try to get all these rookies in there so whenever they start popping off, I can be ready. So I've got a couple of the newer rookies, mostly Prism. I got a couple from a year or two prior. I'm trying to stick to mostly Prism. I did sneak in some Hoops Premium just because I had some pretty cool parallels. A whole lot of Kevin Porter Jr. I got some of Kevin Huerter just because they were cheap. And I think there's a lot of fan base for Atlanta. So I'm going to get some graded. And I got a whole ton of these hoops. I don't know if I want to send them off yet just because I feel like it's a cheap product. But maybe once you get it graded, and if it's a decent grade, it might be worth it. But I'm not a fan of hoops in general. But I've got some, so I may grade it. Anyway, so that's a brief overview of all the grading company's cases I wasn't expecting to do, and my latest submission back, which, like I said, I got this awesome 9.5 Herbert. So, alright guys, I'll see you all in the next one.